Steve here. Let's go back. The year's 2001. After an attack that shook the world, America geared up for what they called a new kind of war. But while our troops were getting ready to deploy, something was happening back in Washington. A decision was being made that, well, it broke every rule in the book when it comes to American conflict. They didn't just change how America fights, they changed how it pays for the fight.
Think about it. Normally, war means sacrifice for everyone. Higher taxes, war bonds, the whole country tightens its belt. But not this time. No. The message coming from the top was something else entirely. They told the American people that the most patriotic thing they could do was to keep the economy going. They literally told us to go shopping.
So what happened next? It was a total radical break from history. I mean, for the first time during a major war, the country decided not to pay for it as we went. Instead, we charged it. The whole damn thing went on the national credit card.
Just look at the difference here. The Civil War, World War I, World War II, what did they do? They raised taxes, they sold bonds. It's how you fund the effort. But in 2001 and 2003, while we were fighting two wars, Congress passed massive tax cuts. So 100%, not 90, 100% of the cost was borrowed. Nothing like this had ever been done before. It was completely unprecedented.
All right, so here's the question. How do you possibly fight a multi-trillion-dollar war while you're cutting taxes without setting off massive alarm bells about the cost? Well, the answer is simple. You get creative with the accounting. And for the next 20 years, that's exactly what they did. The real price tag, it was hidden in plain sight.
And the tool they used for this, it was called emergency supplemental spending. Sounds complicated, but it's not. By calling the war funding an emergency, they could keep it completely separate from the regular annual budget. It was off the books. And what did that do? It made it almost impossible for anyone, the public, even members of Congress, to see how much we were really spending. And the result of that little accounting trick? Well, the numbers speak for themselves. In 2001, our national debt stood at about $5 trillion. Fast forward 20 years to 2021, that number had exploded to nearly $30 trillion. That's not double, not triple. It's a six-fold increase, and was driven almost entirely by this off-the-books war financing.
So you have to ask, who was footing the bill back then? The answer is, we were, by printing up IOUs, U.S. Treasury bonds. We weren't just exporting democracy, we were exporting trillions of dollars of our own debt, selling it to anybody who would buy it, global investors, other countries, and eventually to our own Federal Reserve.
But here's the thing about borrowing money. It's never free, right? Because we put every single dime of this war on the credit card, we walked right into a trap. And it's a trap we are still paying for today, and our kids will be paying for it for decades to come. I'm talking about the interest trap.
So what's the actual bill? The real all-in cost? I'm not just talking about bullets and fuel. I mean the total bill for a 20-year war that was financed completely with borrowed money. According to the folks at the Watson Institute who study this inside and out, the total price tag is over $8 trillion. Just let that number sink in for a second. $8 trillion. And think about what that means. That is money that we didn't spend on our roads, our bridges, our schools, right here at home.
And when you break that number down, it gets even clearer. Sure, there's the direct war spending, of course, and there's the huge ongoing cost of taking care of our veterans, which is critical. But look at that third piece of the pie, interest. Because we borrowed it all, the interest on that debt isn't a one-time thing. It's now a permanent and growing part of our national budget, forever.
So really that was the choice that was made back in 2001. We traded away the idea of immediate, shared sacrifice for a permanent, compounding debt burden. A price that, let's be honest, is going to be paid by generations that had nothing to do with it.
Okay, so why should any of this matter to you today? I mean, this is all history, right? Wrong. It matters because the decisions that were made 20 years ago left a permanent legacy, one that is shaping our entire economy right now, as we speak. What the War on Terror really did was it set a brand new precedent. It proved that a superpower like the U.S. can fight a war forever, really, without ever asking its own citizens to pay for it, as long as someone somewhere in the world is willing to buy our debt. And this is maybe the most important takeaway. It cemented this borrow and spend model as just the way things are done in Washington now. That whole period of emergency spending made these huge deficits feel normal. It completely changed the game in a way nothing else ever had. Which brings us right here to today. It's Wednesday, March 18th, 2026, and the S&P 500 is sitting at 6740. As you look at that number, you need to remember something. A huge chunk of the cash, the liquidity that's sloshing around in this market, it's a direct result of all that government borrowing. We are all living, right now, in an economy that was built on 2 decades of emergency money.
Steve here. So listen, forget the day-to-day noise of the market for a minute. If you really want to understand the true lasting damage, the real cost of this war, don't look at the stock ticker. Watch the debt to GDP ratio. That is the true casualty list of the last 2 decades. I'll see you at the open.